looks like I have a floating head with this black background. Anyway, there's hair somewhere in here. Hi everybody, Laura here from Boomx Beauty Beat. Welcome to a new day and a new video. We are continuing our deep dive into Danessa Myricks today, but oh my god, you guys, I gotta tell you what happened. This morning I woke up, my insomnia as usual, at, I don't know, 5 in the morning, but wherever Danessa was, it was like 8:30 or something, 8 in the morning, and I clicked on Instagram. You know how you pick up your phone first thing in the morning, and Danessa went live, and she was doing her makeup live on Instagram before she started her day at work. And there was only about 250 people on there, so it was like fairly small crowd. And I'm like, Danessa Myricks makeup for, can you do looks for mature skin and blah blah blah. And I texted her and she was chatting back, and I'm like, it's such a weird experience. You don't know these people, but for me, I've been doing research all week on her, and then to get her live and chatting back with me this morning, I was like mind blown. Anyways, she also said, you know, does anybody want to go live with me and do my makeup with me? And I texted her, sure. I don't know if I'll get picked. I mean, there's probably a billion people that said sure, but I threw my hat in the ring anyways. If that happens, well, you guys will all find out about it. But just goes to show you, like, I had such a hate for social media, but then special things like that happen, and I have to say that's pretty cool. Let's get going. I'm talking too long already. Okay, let's start with a wearable, mature Danessa Myricks makeup, with, of course, a little Laura flair at the end, because I have a plan in my head. Some of you guys were asking me about the wearability when we did the last look with Danessa Myricks with that crazy glossy black eye. I found the eye product, you know, actually stayed really well. However, the foundation, not as much. I think all that oil, you know, too much oil was a deal breaker for the longevity. And I like to go for my walk every day, and when I came back, I mean, it fades out really beautifully. Like, you just see your skin. I definitely can see myself. It's so great for, like, if you're going for a hike and you want to have sort of fresh, dewy skin. But what I can tell you, I will tell you this, is the oil, that beauty oil that I tried, I haven't given up on it. And what I've been doing with it is actually just using a lot less and just doing a little bit of a drop on my hand. And oh my god, my skin is becoming so soft from it. And it does go really well into the skin if you just don't OD on it. Just do a little bit, just a little pat everywhere. And if you've got oily skin and you're too not into trying this, then don't. But I don't think it will make you oily. It's more moisturizing for some reason. If you have dry skin, oh, you're gonna love it. You're gonna love it, because I can just see my skin, it on the surface of it is just less dry. So something like this for a person with dry skin, oh, just try it, but just don't ooze it on like I did in the last look. But last look was kind of a fashion-y, artsy thing, so anything goes. I put a bit of color corrector under my eyes, and then we're going to do the foundation. And I'm going to do some tweaking on the foundation so that I feel a little more comfortable with the final look, and I feel like my foundation will stay a bit better. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to take my Huda Beauty foundation. This is in Cheesecake. It's the Faux Filter Luminous Matte. It's got a nice full coverage to it, which I personally prefer. Then what I'm going to do, this is a concoction, is take the Your Skin But Better foundation. What I like about it is it makes the foundation a little more moist and slippy, but still get the coverage. Then we're going to take the Illuminating Veil from Danessa Myricks, and I'm going to put a little bit of that into this concoction so that I still kind of get that same benefit where I have that, I have that glowy effect, and I'm going to put those all together in a mashup. And then I'm going to apply my foundation in a lot simpler way. Oh my God, look at me. Hold on. When will I learn? My hair always gets into everything. Okay, we're going to just put on the foundation, and I like to put it right up and under my eye so that I've got full amount of coverage started under my eye. And I'll go back to my beauty blender because that's my friend. I know it well. And I'll just pounce. This has been dampened, just so you guys know, because for mature skin it really does. Someone's yelling outside. It really does help. And I'll just take it everywhere. So I'll put the foundation on normal, like I would. And then I'll show you some of the tweaks. So what's happening with this foundation is, I've got to close this window. This guy is making some kind of ruckus outside. With the illuminating veil and the oil, what I'm trying to do is get my mindset wrapped around the idea of doing something a little more dewy and illuminating, but not so much so that I feel like my makeup's gonna, slip away or fade away. I want it to be, have the longevity that I need. So I'm sort of doing a compromise, I guess, because I have to move myself away from the matte look at my age. I just feel like it's not where it's at right now. Dewy skin is beautiful. I just have to twist and turn my own arm to do practices in my makeup that can give it a little more of a youthful glow. And I really liked what I did with it yesterday. I just took the day to kind of play a little. And so I thought I would kind of recreate the same idea. And that's when I come up with my best stuff, is when I'm not feeling pressured. I'm in my bed, I'm watching YouTube videos like you guys are doing, and create what I feel like having on my face. Then in terms of using her, I like her foundation. I just want to feel my own foundation on my face. But I am using the Vision Cover Cream to do just a little bit of contour. Like I'm putting just a tiny dot on my hand. And then I'm just going to take my finger and just lightly put in just a little bit. Because what I do find with this Vision Cover Cream is it does, go really smooth and moves really nicely with the other Danessa Myricks products. So with the illuminating veil and with the oil and everything else. So I'm just giving myself a little bit of contour tapped on, but in a real soft and gentle way. Like, I'm not trying to do a super chiselly thing here. And some of the things I learned from Danessa is to really get that tapping and patting motion in, and I liked how she worked the finger up and pulled it forward, and the cheeks looked really nicely blended that way. I'm getting, you get so used to using your tools all the time, we forget about our finger, and these products work beautiful with the finger. Same thing with all my other little contour areas. Oh, another thing that I did is, this was really pretty yesterday, is I took the illuminating veil into that darker product, and after I finished my contour, I'll show you. We're getting into spring, and I'm sort of craving that, bronzy skin already. So what I did next is I took the illuminating veil in a little bit of this, I'll show you on my hand, onto this product here, and I moved a little bit inside of it, and I just kind of pulled it down my neck and across my shoulders, and it just gave my skin a moist, dewy, beautiful tone. And my boyfriend even commented, he's like, "Oh, did you get a tan today?" Or something about my skin looking really pretty and shimmery. And I was like, oh dang, if I can get a compliment out of him, I'm doing this again. So I just moved it down my neck. You can use your sponge if you want to, but it just even with your hands, like with most products, I find it gets patchy and it doesn't look as nice, but this one doesn't. So You can just easily build wherever you want to build and build upon the structure. You can even, if you wanted to contour your nose, you could. So all your regular things, this works really, really well for as far as contour. You know, if you want to put a touch on your forehead here. But boy, does a little go a long way. You don't need hardly a touch of it, and it just goes a long way. Okay, we're going to get some concealer on. You guys know my dark circles if you've watched my channel a few times before. If you're new here, welcome, by the way. So I pulled, well, I actually got a little hourglass concealer in, I think it was sepia, in the mail with part of my Sephora orders, and I was like, dang, the airbrush concealer, it is good, you guys. And so I bought one. I picked one up because me and concealers, I'm on the quest for the best conceal available to men, and I am ranking it. It could be even better than the Jouer. It's not the cheapest concealer. It was kind of pricey, but what is amazing about it is how it doesn't make your under eyes look older. I was like floored, because I come to expect it to a certain degree because of the amount of concealer that I need for my dark circles. But airbrush is right. It really does give you this unbelievable airbrushed effect, but it's full coverage, full coverage. And then you could take your sponge and just sort of like sponge up the excess and make sure everything is covered, but it wipes it out. It's so hard for me to find a concealer that doesn't like make my eyes look way crepier and way awful. So if you guys are looking for a new concealer to try, I mean, I still use the Jouer, but I am hazarding the guess at possibility that this concealer even makes my under eyes less old looking, crepey, etc. So I wanted to introduce you to that concealer today, because I need to feel the security of that full coverage feeling under my eyes. I just felt so insecure when it starts to evaporate and look yuck. You know, and you could put, obviously, you could put the concealer in all your usual highlight places if you want to. But, I mean, in actual fact, for mature skin, you don't have to do all this. It's just, it's an extra thing. If you enjoy that look where it looks a little brightened down the nose and the center, whoops. And in this little area here, how they do it on YouTube, I like to put it in my folds in the front of my mouth, because it takes a little bit of that shadow down a little bit in the corners of my nose and around the edges of the mouth, because that gets downturned as we age. And I like to put a little bit of a rim here because it helps to keep my lips in place later. And then a real gentle powder. Let's do that. I've been really loving the one size translucent powder. I like to use it with a dampened sponge because I find it makes the powder less powdery, and I press it into the sponge somewhat before, make sure there's no creasing in here, and then just as light as I can, I seal it up. And I really find that this one size powder has been even better than the Laura Mercier for me, for not making it look creepy under my eyes. So for that very reason, it's become a serious favorite. I was surprised. I didn't expect it to be so good, honestly. But I'm still finding that my skin has a softness and a dewiness, not so dry, not so powdery. And I didn't show you all the products from Danessa Myricks last time, so I've got some new stuff to show you, even more incredible. But I really like how that looks. I think it's nice, and it feels like me. I feel comfortable in it, and really like the way it feels. It feels really moist and comfortable. So I'm going to go to my Huda Beauty Micro Brow, which I am loving. I told you it'd be my new holy grail. I just knew it would. So I just wanted to tell you, when I was on the chat with Danessa this morning, she was doing her eyebrows, and everybody was asking, what eyebrows at? What eyebrows at? I don't know if I explained, I don't think I did. The last time we were together, there basically was a few stepping stones to Danessa's career, and one of them was working for Benefit Cosmetics. And she helped create their eyebrow pencil, and somebody asked, when are you coming out with eyebrow stuff? And she's like, unless I can do it like more innovatively or better, you know, why bother? One of the reasons I love these cream paints, I guess, so much, I guess it's I don't know how else to describe them, is because of their versatility and how forgiving they are for crepiness on the lid, more than a powder is. Even if you have this down first, it helps with some of the crepiness. Because some eyeshadows have a beautiful color, but then they make your eyelids look like the Crypt Keeper, and it's terrible. This color is called Desert Rose. I didn't show it to you last time. Just so, again, so you know, these color fixes can be used as eyeshadow, blush, lip, and we will be doing some multi-use with these products in a bit. So I'm just putting just a tiny bit onto my hand, a dot. I have this little working area. As a makeup artist, I always put stuff in that little area of my hand. Then I just want to show you, I'm taking a little bit up like you would your transition brush on the paint. I'm pushing it into the brush a little bit. I just wanted to show you. So see, I put my base down on my lid, and I've powdered and stuff, making sure there's no creasing, and then I'm working this paint onto my transition area just like I would an eyeshadow, so you guys can see how easy it is to blend, easier than a powder. And I know that's kind of hard to believe, because you know, we get so used to what we get used to, but it's because it's not a dry product. It's not drying that lid, and it's not making it look all crepey. And that's part of the reason when you see me get so excited about certain products. You know, part of it is, you know, the texture, how it moves, how it sits, how it lasts, how it doesn't crease. These are all things I'm looking for my age category at 50 to, you know, have a product that I love to use. I'm putting in a little bit more so you can see it come up a little bit brighter on there. Also mix them together to make whatever color you want. So this is kind of a plummy color. Then take a dry brush, a dry fluffy brush. See if I've got one here. And just go over it with nothing on the brush to blend the lines, and it will blend so easy. When you think you've got enough shadow on there and there's no more pigment needed, kind of. Man. I mean, that could be a one and done shadow if you wanted to, but we're going to build a little bit of depth and do some interesting things with it. I love it. Oh my God, it's so nice. All right, now I'm going to take a little bit of the blackout color, and let me just get this on my hand. I should say, you don't have to put stuff on your hand. I'm just comfortable with it. You could even put something on a little spatula or anything that, you know, kind of works for you, so you don't have to do that. So what I'm doing right now is I'm taking a bit of the black, I'm mixing it in so you guys can see on my hand. I've got it kind of like a, you know, almost like a little palette, like a mini paint palette. And I've got sort of this squared up fluff brush, and you could take it and build up a little bit of strength in the crease, just a little bit. And if you want it to move more, you could always put a little bit of the oil inside, but right now I'm just showing it to you matte and without anything added. And then take your crease brush for moving the makeup and move it around. So you're placing it and then you're moving it. I'm just adding a touch of depth, just a little bit. But the way that this blends is so different than a powder. It adds this, you know, really rich base to it. that I just love. So I just did a soft, you know, kind of shadowed look with a little bit of crease work with the black, just a little bit. Now I'm going to take a bit of the black on the Refer pencil brush, and I'm going to use it as eyeliner. So I'll show you how great this is for mature eyes, because you can smudge it out. Because when you have just a straight black pencil or straight black anything, it has this harshness on our eyes that's, you know, sometimes very unflattering. So what I'm going to do now is kind of an extended soft smudgy wing as part of this look. And I just look at how this moves. I mean, it's budge proof and smudge proof, doesn't skip, doesn't anything. Wow. And I'm just thickening that up. I want it to sort of be quite pokey wingy as part of this look. All right, now just to grab a little bit of focus into the eye, I'm just going to take my Huda Beauty and rim my eye line, tight line it, and give this a little more of a soft smoky effect with a wing. I'm going to put just a touch on the, just right near the lash line, and keep the ends moving up. Now one important part to this look, in my opinion, is just to bring a little of the black paint into the inner corner so that it's got kind of a cat eye effect. Put on a pair of Ardell Demi Wispies and just a little bit of mascara as well. We're not quite done the eye, so you could leave it here, and this could be just a really nice sort of shaping of the eye in a, you know, a little bit of a twist with the you know, way that we brought the point in the corner and lift it up. But still wearable for a mature eye, as long as you determine the strength of that kind of black paint going on. But I promise you, if you take away the idea of doing pencils or eyeshadow and try the paint as an eyeliner, you will be pleasantly surprised. So I was sort of excited. This is where the glam comes in with me. I have such a hard time toning it down. This is the Milky Way color. This is one of the most beautiful things I've ever seen. This Milky Way is a foil. It is super shimmery, and if you don't like shimmer, you won't like this. But I put a little bit onto my hand, and I'm using a flat brush, and I just want to pat this on to my inner corner here to catch the light, like the inner half of my lid. And oh my God, is this ever the most beautiful color ever made. It's just like a champagne-y Milky Way. It's just so pretty. And you can pack down that paint in layers and make it kind of as light or opaque as you want. And I think what I'm going for is a little more opaque because I just love it. But definitely, you know, skip this step if you're just not into sparkle or don't want to go this far. I'm just taking the brush and I'm slightly grazing it upwards here so that it catches the light on the inner part of my eye. Didn't mean to bring it quite that high, so I'm just going to rub that out. You can put just a little dot in the highlight area if you feel daring, just to catch the light. It is so beautiful, and it goes on and stays on unlike anything else. You could put some on the inner corner down here if you wanted to have the light catch that bit of sparkle, but oh my God, look at that. It's so pretty. Right? And so you don't have to put the glazy thing on there if you don't want to. Like, that is just, it's an option. It's not a necessity item for the Danessa Myricks products. I also didn't get to show you guys the cheek product last time, and I wanted to do that. It has this cream cheek, lip, whatever you want to use product, and it comes out on a little, you know, doe foot applicator here. And you basically, I put it onto my hand so that I can control how much product I'm going to use. I take a blush brush and I just kind of pounce it in and disperse the product evenly as I can. And then I like to do a gentle tapping motion at first to kind of place the product, and then you can work it in to the cheek. It is so, so beautiful. It just gives such a natural looking flush of color. You could take your sponge if you want to and kind of dabble that so that it presses into the skin. This is the Danessa Myricks Dew Wet Balm. So basically, same thing. I mean, you could touch it onto your fingers and just touch it where you want your skin to just have a nice, soft, dewy look to it. Again, you could take your sponge and just dabble that in. And even though I put powder down, it doesn't, for some reason, disrupt like the product. Obviously, I didn't put a ton of powder, like, so I don't know if you were to put a ton of powder if that would happen, but for most of us, like, we usually are a little bit sparing on how much powder that we use. If you wanted a more monochromatic look, I'm taking a little bit of the paint. It's a bit deeper in tone. This is a deeper plum tone, the same tone we used on the eyes. It's the same product, just to show you that it can be used on the cheek. So that was a softer cheek color, and this is a little more depth and plum to it, but it would totally work as well. Same thing, I've got it going, but you can move it into the skin, take your sponge, dabble it in, and just disperse it if you wanted a little bit more of a monochromatic, deeper plum look on the cheeks. Now that the blush is on, I'm going to move to lips. I'm going to go with the you know, kind of classic lip liner route. I'm using the MAC Plum lip pencil, so I'm just going to gently line my lips normally. You guys will not believe this lip paint. I mean, this paint for lips for mature women, because we have a problem with our lipstick sometimes kind of not staying on or bleeding, but this paint, once it's on, dries down and it won't move. So the amount that it's lasting is just crazy. So I'm using that same color called Desert Rose on my lips. It doesn't leave your lips feeling dry, and it doesn't leave your lips feeling moist. It kind of just feels neutral. Oh my God, this thing will last. If I didn't put anything like creamy on there, it would last all day. It's insane. You could, you know, I've been able to like have a snack through it, and it stays on there. I mean, obviously if you're eating something really greasy, it probably would move, but if you're just eating like a granola bar or something, it, like, look at it. It's just like on color wise, and as soon as it dries down, you don't have any like real sticky feeling. But I like my lips to feel like moist, so what I do is I take the Milani. I've got the Milani color here in nylon, 210 nylon, and it's sort of got a creamier, balmier consistency. And I put that on if I want longevity. And then I have that creaminess of lipstick on top. But because the paint is underneath, it stays on. It doesn't feather. It's crazy, you guys. Crazy. So you could see how like one product like this, like the Desert Rose, eyes, cheeks, lips, you know, this costs, I'm in Canada, this cost me $24 in Canada. I think it's something like 18 or 20 in the States, a little bit less. But, oh my gosh, I'm going to do a quick wrap up here, and I'm just, and I love that color too. I am really, really excited. Trying to get that foundation I got on my, I forgot to say too, if you do prefer a glossy look, you can take the clear glaze, and it makes just a beautiful lip gloss, and you can just dabble that on, you know, the high points of your lip here, and you'll still be able to keep that longevity that you're looking for. Okay, so let's do a wrap up. I love these color fixes so much, you guys. I ordered, seriously, I think I've got 5 more coming. So I'm probably going to end up doing another look because these colors that I picked up are just so beautiful. And I haven't been able to play with their metallics yet. And I wanted to take a look at those and play with those. So there's going to be one more look with this coming, which is probably more of a glam up look. Not that this isn't glam, but minus the shimmer, the Milky Way, this would be you know, a fairly wearable work look if you wanted to just like softly tone it down a bit. I am so enthralled. I don't think I've ever, you know, kind of spent this much money on a line before in one, for, you know, a couple of videos, but I'm truly passionate about the creams, the paints for mature skin. Just the way that it behaves on the skin is so much more forgiving than powders. I also will show you maybe next time in the next video how you can incorporate your eyeshadow powders over top of this, and it gives you such strong hold power for your look. A lot of us with mature skin find that our makeup kind of goes invisible at the end of the day. When you're doing it in these layers like that and using things like the color fix, it won't move, so you won't have that problem at all. I really like what's happening with, you know, the kind of balmy look. I don't know if you guys can see it here. I'm getting a little bit of moisture looking on my skin without it looking too glimmery and intimidating and, you know, fake. And sometimes it accentuates like the lines and stuff like that. So using, you know, like the balm, for example, is such a nice alternative. You definitely, if you want to, can go ahead and put highlighter on top of the balm. I'll show you, I'll take a little bit of the Ofra one. I'll take it in, we'll do pink since we're doing roses. And you could touch a little bit of highlighter into this and it just melds in because the balm's there. It melds into the skin so nicely instead of kind of sitting on top, which I find a lot of highlighters look really chalky and they kind of sit on top of the skin. But when you have that balm in there, it sort of melds into the skin, which is a whole different ball game. So thanks a lot for watching, you guys. I just wanted to show you more of Danessa, tell you more about her. I'm really supportive of her line. And thank you, Danessa, for coming up with such a unique and creative experience to have for playing in makeup. And we will see you guys again for one more creative with Danessa Myricks. Have a great day. Bye, everybody.